Howdy team, in this video I want to talk to you about the tendency to overcomplicate, to make things harder, more difficult than they actually really need to be. Now why this is important is because my podcast, the Financial Pro podcast, won the best financial services industry podcast at the TMG Awards. And it made me think about how often in business, particularly when you're starting out, you often look for perfection. You look to get everything right, but that can often keep you stuck. And there's a saying that one of my mentors and good friends and clients now uses, which is prolific beats perfect. And actually it's the imperfect actions that get you the best results. And the reason why it's so vital, every single podcast, nigh on every single podcast that I've done has been recorded on my phone with a live video or in the notes with the little lavalier mic. That is a piece of equipment that is 20 quid on Amazon. And yet more often than not, you think you need everything to be absolutely exceptional for it to get the best possible results. So imperfect action is what gets you the best possible result. That's the thing I want you to remember as you go through this week. Particularly if you're now at the point where you're setting goals, aspirations, dreams, wishes for 2021. It's about making sure that actually you do the things that lead to you getting the best result. And when I think back to everything that has happened realistically since 2016, it's the imperfect actions that make you get better. If you think about when you were riding a bike, when you were really, really little and really, really small, if you can remember back that far, you fell off, you needed some stabilizers, you needed someone to hold your hand, you got the stabilizers off, you grazed your knee, you bumped your head. You didn't wait until you could perfectly ride. It's impossible to do. You just got on and did it, and you took the risks and the challenges in order to be able to get better as you keep doing stuff. And the longer you wait to launch, the longer you wait to do your first video, the longer you wait to take on that employee because you're fearful of managing or having somebody else in the business, the more things are going to break, the harder it's going to get, the worse it's going to become, the services are going to dip. The best thing you can do, yes, you have to do calculated risk, but the best thing you can do is just pull the trigger and make it happen. It's the risk of not doing it is going to be by far worse than actually taking the chance on it. Looking at accountability, support, guidance, business growth, whatever it might well be. Sitting still technically means you're going backwards, because everybody else is moving forwards. So you've got a choice. You can either pull the trigger and get it done and get it launched and get it out and get the video live and get the podcast started and just see what happens. When I launched my coaching and mentoring business back in March 2019, loads of people were just asking me for business advice in my free community. And I said, look, this is really taking up a lot of my time now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a Facebook group. We're going to store the videos into an online training portal. I'm going to charge you £97 a month for it. And I'm going to do weekly teaching, training, support, coaching, because then it's worth me investing my time in it. And it's worth you, investing your time in it, rather than it being unplanned, unstructured and everything else. And in doing that, back in March 2019, 16 people said, yes, we'd like to do it. Which then means it's worthy for them and it's worthy for me, and that had more structure. We've now consistently maintained around about 150 mentees. And then they kind of move up into our Pro Elite group where we have the more detailed coaching and support and mentoring and masterminding. But if I hadn't made that first step, if I hadn't launched the podcast, even though I was fearful that that would fail, if I hadn't launched the masterclass and the mastermind and the podcast, and the academy, even though I was fearful it was going to fail, the worst thing that can happen is you learn from the experience and you know what you're going to do again. And the second time you do it better. It's about failing forwards, not about not doing it. So if I can urge you to think of one thing this week, what's the thing that you've been saying you're going to do, but you haven't got done yet? What's the thing that's still in your to-do list that you've wanted to do for absolutely ages, but you keep putting it off? Comment in now and let me know what that thing is. Hold yourself to account and I'll hold you accountable to doing it. If you don't know how to do it, then comment it in as well, because I can then reply and give you some insights and some ideas around how you can move that forward. Doesn't matter what it is. The quicker you take action, the quicker you are going to get more results. The quicker you're going to create more opportunities. Doing nothing gets you nothing. So please, if I can urge you to do one thing this week, try and do something that you've wanted to do for ages that you haven't managed to do yet. So I hope that inspires you. Hope that gives you something to think about. Have a fantastic day. Remember, now's the time to become pro.